Your balance is observed. Your movements are evaluated. Your posture is documented. Everything becomes visible. This moment often transitions the stop from citation to investigation. You comply physically. But you don't start filling silence with explanations. Movement plus speech increases interpretive risk. 9. Mind if I ask you a few more questions? This usually comes after paperwork. You feel relief. You think the stop is over. That's exactly when defenses drop. Here's what matters: once the initial purpose of the stop ends, continued conversation becomes voluntary. You regain choice. You are not required to extend the encounter. Polite departure protects you. Lingering conversation often creates new issues. 10. Are you on probation or parole? This question attempts to expand authority. In many states, probation status affects search rights. Your answer can change the legal landscape instantly. Again, you are not required to provide investigative details beyond identification requirements. Information changes leverage. Restraint preserves leverage. 11. Why are you so nervous? Most people are nervous during traffic stops. That is normal. But once nervousness is acknowledged verbally, it becomes documented as suspicious behavior. Do not debate your emotions. Do not try to explain your heartbeat. Nervousness is human. Talking about it makes it evidence. 12. Help me understand what happened. This is an invitation to storytelling. And storytelling creates admissions. You may try to clarify. You may try to soften the violation. But every added detail becomes another data point. Less narrative equals less exposure. Why silence works: silence removes building blocks. Traffic stops operate like interviews. Interviews require answers. When you limit speech, there is less interpretation, less paraphrasing, less narrative framing. You remain compliant through actions, provide license and registration. Follow lawful instructions. Exit when ordered. Stay calm. Speech is optional. Compliance is physical. That difference matters. The final rule said, if you remember nothing else, remember this: 1. Pull over safely and promptly. 2. Provide required documents. 3. Follow lawful physical instructions. 4. Do not volunteer explanations. 5. Do not guess. 6. Do not consent to searches. 7. Stay calm and emotionally neutral. 8. Leave when the stop concludes. Every question carries benefit for the officer. Very few carry benefit for you. Discipline wins traffic stops. Not arguments. Not speeches. Not over-cooperation. Closing traffic stops are common. But common does not mean harmless. Preparation changes outcomes. When you understand how questions function, you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. Respect the badge. Respect the law. But respect your rights just as much. If this breakdown helped you think differently about roadside encounters, subscribe for more lawyer-backed insights and stay informed before you see flashing lights again. If an officer asks certain questions during a traffic stop, understand something important: the stop is no longer just about a traffic violation. It has become an investigation. Traffic stops don't turn dangerous because someone yells. They don't turn serious because someone is rude. They turn serious because drivers cooperate the wrong way. Most people believe being polite means answering everything. But during a roadside stop, every sentence you speak can become evidence. Today, I'm breaking down the most common questions officers use to build cases and exactly how to protect yourself legally when you hear them. If you value your rights, stay with me. 1. Do you know why I stopped you? This question sounds simple. Almost conversational. But it's not small talk. When you answer, you are guessing, and guessing often becomes admitting. If you say, "Was I speeding? Maybe I rolled that stop sign. I might have been going a little fast." You just supplied an admission the officer didn't have on record yet. Even if you were wrong. Courts have recognized that roadside questioning carries psychological pressure. You're under authority. Lights are flashing. You feel obligated to respond. Here's what matters: you are not required to explain the reason for the stop. You can remain calm and let the officer state it. Silence here protects you. Guessing harms you. 2. Where are you coming from? This feels friendly. It feels like conversation. It's not. This question shifts focus from your driving to your lifestyle. If you say, coming from a bar, leaving a friend's house, out late running errands, now the officer has context to build suspicion even if your driving was fine. Time plus location plus behavior equals narrative. You are not legally required to provide travel history during a routine traffic stop. Being polite does not mean volunteering personal details. Keep the stop narrow. Narrow stops end faster. 3. Have you had anything to drink tonight? This is where the tone changes. Even one honest answer like, just one beer, a glass of wine earlier, can escalate the stop into field sobriety testing. You may believe moderation sounds responsible. But legally, any admission opens the door to subjective evaluations. Officers can justify further investigation based solely on your statement. Remember this: your words can create probable cause. You don't argue. You don't debate. You stay respectful. But you do not need to incriminate yourself through conversation. 4. Is there anything illegal in the vehicle? Watch what happens internally when you hear that. Your mind scans everything. Even harmless things suddenly feel suspicious. Officers are trained to observe hesitation, tone shifts, and eye movement. The question isn't about inventory. It's about reaction. If you nervously over-explain, that explanation may become evasive behavior in a report. You are not required to verbally clear your vehicle. Silence is not guilt. It is restraint. 5. You don't mind if I take a look, right? This is the consent trap. Notice the phrasing, it assumes agreement. If you say sure or I guess so, you just gave legal permission for a search. And once consent is given, it's extremely difficult to challenge later. Here's what most drivers misunderstand: even if you have nothing illegal, consent exposes you to risk, misinterpretation of objects damaged during search, items that don't belong to you, extended detention. You can decline respectfully. You don't argue. You don't raise your voice. You simply do not give permission. Consent searches exist because people feel uncomfortable saying no. You are allowed to say number 6. Why are you being so defensive? This question targets emotion. It reframes caution as attitude. The goal? To make you explain yourself. Once you start explaining tone, intent, or personality, you begin giving narrative material. Officers document demeanor. Agitated. Nervous. Overly talkative. Defensive. Your emotional reaction becomes part of the justification for extending the stop. Stay calm. Stay slow. Stay neutral. Emotion fuels reports. Calm discipline limits them. 7. Just be honest with me. This phrase feels moral. It sounds like integrity is being tested. But honesty in an investigative setting does not protect you. Evidence protects you. Admissions strengthen cases. Once something is said, it cannot be unsaid. And later, that honest moment may appear in a report without tone, context, or explanation. You are not obligated to build the state's case for them. Honesty does not require self-incrimination. 8. Step out of the vehicle. Now we shift from questions to positioning. Legally, officers can order you out of the car. But understand what changes once outside.